And once again, we rejoin our colonist Blue as he sleeps recovering from a recent illness here in his little wooden house built by his own hands deep in the jungle. Once again, thank you for joining me, everybody. My name is Ryan, and this is Blue's Return. We are back for episode 2. If you're just tuning in, I've got a link to this playlist and all my other RimWorld stuff down below in the description, plus the mod pack, the seed for this map. They're all down there too, so go check it out. But once again, Blue is laying in bed recovering from a few illnesses he's contracted. We have a dead colonist out front, but don't worry, this was an intentional sacrifice. So J-Rock, we appreciate what you've done. We shall bury you in honor. So of course it's going to be a challenging series. We are on Losing is Fun, 500% scale difficulty with Randy Random as our AI overlord. So get prepared, everybody. I hope you'll hit that like button if you're a new viewer. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and let's speed things up and see what today's episode brings for Blue. Well, Blue has buried his fellow colonist J-Rock, who did just join us randomly. So once again, he's not going to be a total loner, but we're just going to be very careful and discriminating about who we do recruit into the colony. We want only the best here at this one. They're going to need to be the best if they want to survive in the jungle with Blue. Speaking of survival, the front lines are pretty meager. Our little steel wall is good to keep the animals out, but not much more. So we're going to need to bolster this. We're going to replace the steel with stone, double the thickness, add some blocking walls and such. And of course we can do that all in the company of some wild Thrumbo, which have decided to grace us with their presence, at least temporarily. But things are looking good right now, but we still haven't had our first raid. So like I say, we need to get prepared. Another night has passed, and Blue's wide awake now. He's refilling some of his food basket here, about to cook up some pemmican. That's great. We also need him to work on this bench, but he's going to have to chop a little wood first. Now, unfortunately, Randy has been very generous, and I say unfortunately with a reason. See, he just tamed an elephant for us, and you might think, oh wow, that's extremely nice of him. I bet you we could use this to potentially haul things and even have it as self-defense in the colony, right? No, considering Blue has 0 animal handling skills, that's a pipe dream, and we're not going to keep this thing around until we recruit somebody with animal handling. This boy right here alone bumps our wealth up, I'm sure, a considerable chunk. So, in my humble opinion, I have a pet theory that Randy will do this intentionally. You think he's being generous and nice, hitting you with an animal taming or maybe some juicy cargo pod drops, but really he's trying to bolster your wealth right before he hits you with a raid. So, I've got this one butchered. Now, I have kept Blue's work order set to handle here at 4, which means he'll never really do it, but I can still force him to butcher in situations like this. So I did kind of anticipate this kind of thing, because it's not new for Randy, and like I said, I simply don't trust the guy. Yep, it's definitely going to increase the colony wealth, even if the animal is dead, because just dropped a whole big chunk of leather, some tusks, and of course the meat. But a lot of that, sadly, probably will go bad, just because we have a very limited amount of rice currently with intention. And he's a busy guy. Blue needs to be chopping down some trees to get these things refilled. And a research bench is still standing idle. But we have to be wary of Randy's evil tricks. And the good news is I will be able to at least make Blue, I think, the tribal wear out of this here leather, so we're trying to look on the bright side of things. Oh, poor sick Blue. He's over here resting. The monkeys are frolicking about at the edge of the garden. Everything seems great here in the jungle, doesn't it? Well, no, actually, it's not going super great. I just noticed the fire over here, and I have no idea how it started. There's no boomaloops, no boom rats. I don't think we experienced any kind of dry thunderstorm, but Nonetheless, it happened, and we've got wooden walls. As I mentioned in the first episode, these are definitely a problem. Don't have enough steel to upgrade them either. See, this is the problem with resource management, trying to min-max our wealth, is that when emergencies pop up, we can't really respond to them because we don't have the stuff. But I'm hoping maybe we'll get a rainstorm. There is a little bit more fire down here on the map too. So knowing the way that this game works, when the fire starts to exceed a certain value on the map, it will rain. But whether or not that happens before it ruins our crops and, God forbid, takes out our house, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. In fact, let's just speed it up and find out. Well, there we go. We did lose maybe a small amount, but then again, we didn't even get to plant this yet. So no, I think we lucked out. We got that rainstorm just as the sun went down. Poor Blue sitting in here in the dark. But hey, let's get these lamps refueled. Either way, that was almost very close. Yeah, I think we might actually go ahead and mine out as much of this as we can without disrupting the underhead mountain and provoking potential insect attacks. But I'll also have to probably venture out into the deeper jungle. But we've got to get that wall switched out with some metal. Oh, it's happened. Good news and bad news. The 500 stacks of elephant meat just rotted away, but that is kind of a good thing, too. And, of course, the good news is Blue has discovered the mysteries of how to cultivate heel root, which is kind of a game changer now here in the jungle. I didn't quite set him high enough to do this when we started. He was only a 7 in his knowledge of plants, but we got that up to an 8 finally, after he's already been sick twice. Luckily, his super immune trait has kept him alive, but as I mentioned, we're going to certainly need this if we recruit anybody else to keep him alive in this hellish jungle environment, also known as the Green Hell. But yeah, I think our front lines are currently put on hold while Blue digs into the mountain very carefully. Let's go ahead and break out the steel walls. We're going to replace all of these, even if we don't quite have the resources for them. This portion obviously doesn't need it back here because it won't be exposed to fire. So we'll try and save some of the resources by just leaving that wood like now. Of course, as I mentioned too, all of this will eventually get converted into stone as soon as we get that stone cutting researched. Haven't started a single bit of it, but he's a busy man, this Blue character. There he is. Of course, we got lots of priorities too. I've mentioned previously we want to rid ourselves of any animals still here trapped inside the compound, because Randy will set them wild on us if we're not careful, or manhunter I should say. But otherwise, things are going great. We might need to dig up the stumps in here. Probably a good, quick, and easy way to get a little bit of wood. So, regardless, Blue is still suffering, but without the medicine he needs, it might take a while for him to recover. Well, we've got a couple of big pieces of news. No, it's not a raid just yet, but Randy keeps sending traders at me. No, that's not the news either. We have received a quest, Violence for Profit. I like that name a lot. And this is one of those sneaky tricks that Randy likes to do. Look at this. He's willing to send me a set of recon armor that's worth 2,300. It's kind of, as you can see, skewed a little bit compared to the other two. So this is a real temptation. But again, it would drastically increase the colony's wealth, and that means the next raid or two after this would probably get us killed. But I think we might go for the wooden recurve masterwork. A little bit of jade, we can dispose of that in a trade or something, but 2 drifters, that's it. That's not too shabby. Blue, why don't you grab these? We're also over here just hauling some stelays that I noticed are sitting out in the environment. We're going to put those in his bedroom area so he hopefully will boost his beauty a little bit. But the anime animatry, this is another big one. Thanks to one of the mods I've got, we can actually extract this and bring it back into our base. So I'm going to do that now because, of course, with our natural background, Blue can one day become a powerful psychic warrior. It's going to take a lot of meditation, and I might wait until we get 2 or 3 natural pawns before we start to do it, because really all alone it can just kind of eat into his daily work if he sits there and meditates, and it takes a long time to get enough grass with a single pawn. But either way, that's what we're looking at now, plus the trader. So let's see, we might actually be able to sell this trader some of our junk for once, so that'll be exciting. Okay, don't worry, we're going to check the trader shortly, but first, Blue wandered all the way out here. Of course, I ordered him to, and he has dug up the animatry. Now it sits on the ground. Before he leaves that area, I'm going to order it to be replanted right here. And of course, I need to grab him and force him to do it. Otherwise, he'll just walk away. But there we go. So in one pretty smooth motion now, we've got ourselves an animatry. And look, the raptor shrimp didn't even notice. These things are quite deadly. Blue right now in his current armored state would easily be sliced to ribbons by one of those. But regardless, as soon as he makes it in here and replants this beautiful magical tree, then I promise we're going to take a look at the bulk goods trader. Alright, well, the bad news is he doesn't want our elephant tusks, but the good news is I'm going to trade him away most of the stuff that's just sitting around. We're going to end up with about 300 silver. Now, it may not seem smart to sell my food, but I did prepare. We've got 629 pemmican, a little bit of rice out here in the field too, and of course, he's a good grower, so I'm not worried. And we got our first batch of Psych IT as well. We take a look at the Assign tab. Of course, we can see the drug policies, the way I've got it set up here. Just a quick overview. Won't go into too much detail with this, but you know, another thing I should probably note is the ideology. Let's see, where's that at? There we go. So it's just a fluid ideology with human primacy as the basis, just making sure to lock in that production specialist for the colony. Of course, it's not really relevant at the moment with him just being solo, but once we do get 2 other colonists, we'll start to develop our ideology. You better believe it, and it might turn out to be a twisted one, guys, so hope you'll be prepared for that once it happens. Well, Blue's room may still be a horrible dirt-floored mess, no better than a cave, really, but now he has 2 giant stelae overlooking him as he sleeps in his little sleeping bag at nights. And thanks to the civilization that built these and left them somewhere on the map for him to claim and repair, it has actually gotten rid of his little negative moodlet debuff for having a crappy room. So it was just enough to bring us up to mediocre. Not put us over the top to nice or impressive or anything like that. No. But I did actually, in fact, have to move a couple doors to make room for him. Nonetheless, it will suffice for now until we get somebody who's a little bit more artistic-minded than Blue here in the colony. Oh no, we spent so much time getting these walls replaced with steel that Randy hit us with a raid before we could get the defenses fully tricked out and stuff. But I did manage to build a few traps on either side here. That was really in anticipation for that quest we were going to do, but you can see we're cannibalizing some ruined walls over here. These are going to be little places for Blue and hopefully future colonists to stand behind so we don't get straight shot at. But either way, let's check out our newest foe. Well, really our first foe. It is, of course, a piglet. Oh my gosh. He's just wandering around preparing before he attacks. So let's take a look at him. Chemical fascination, neurotic, animals, artistic, decent little intellectual and social ability. Not a bad pawn at all, but unfortunately, he's unwaveringly loyal, so he will not be joining us. Let's see what he's kitted out with. Oh boy, flak vest. He's got an auto revolver. Man, oh man, this is going to be a test for Blue, who of course is only armed with some wooden armor, his little poor recurve bow, And not much else. The wooden war mask and, of course, the elephant leather stuff we made. Darn. Well, nonetheless, we still might be able to put up some defenses before this guy gets here. So let's choose some granite barricades. I've made sure to carefully place these the right distance away so that this will be a permanent addition. In other words, I won't have to adjust it once we double up here on the embrasures, because this is ultimately my plan over here is to go 2 thickness, but we don't have the steel or the time, so it's not as important as getting him some cover to hide behind during these fights. But either way, I'm gonna cut out and speed up a little bit. Hopefully we can survive this one, but let's get right to the action. Well, Randy did hit us with the transport pod crash, but this one's a pyro. Although pyros aren't as bad as they used to be in the old days of RimWorld, I think we'll still leave them out there. We've got bigger priorities right now. Here he comes. Oh, something's been hunting tortoises. Probably this big beefy guy. Anyway, let's stay focused. So he's coming around the right side. Ooh, are you kidding me, Randy? This isn't the quest. I still haven't accepted it. I never accepted it. He is double hitting us. That's crazy. Body Purist, not very good. What did the message say? I always cancel it before reading them. They're attacking immediately. Oh boy. Now these 2 factions here might be enemies, but I think this guy's going to get here quicker. Blue is ready. There's his range. The doors are kind of blocking him. We might be better off putting him right there. Oh, this guy totally avoided the traps. Okay, Blue, come on. What's he doing? Okay, never mind. He walked right into the trap. Strangely enough, he did. Those pigs, though, you can't put them down that easily. Not with 2 wooden traps, but let's take a look at his health. Dead in 8 hours. I think he's actually going... Yeah, he's going for the other one. This is great. This is beautiful. I want that pistol, though. Excellent auto revolver. You better drop it, sir. No, I'm not bringing Blue out to interfere with this in any way. We will let him just hang out. He's hungry, he's tired, but we don't care. Which reminds me of a scene from The Naked Gun. Come on, guys, just get it over with. They're fighting right in front of one of their future resting places anyway, so what's going on? $7 hours for him. They're probably going to bleed out before it happens. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't want either one of them, so a double kill would be great at this point. Oh, man, I think I will just go ahead and release Blue. He needs to... Oh, did he get injured? Oh, no, it's the sensory mechanites. That's okay. That's not life-threatening, I don't think, ultimately. But either way, let's just let these 2 Dumbos fight it out for a moment. Okay, there it goes. Looks like the raccoon won over the pig. Isn't that great? No, I shouldn't denigrate the different xenotypes here at the Rim. That's not right of me, but we do need Blue back at his position. I'm sorry, buddy. I literally just released him. He was about to go back to bed. This guy did survive, which is, yeah, actually quite fortunate if we can get out there and strip him before death. Now, this guy's coming around our weak spot here where we don't have any traps. Blue, I actually... I think you ought to fall back, my friend. I want you out of sight. Yeah, I might just let this guy bleed out. 6 hours, he'll probably drop soon enough. Yeah, while we're doing this, I'm going to move Blue back into the back of the colony. Kind of out of sight. Oh, good, never mind. Boom, boom, boom. We're good to go. Look at this. He even dropped a little bit of medicine, too. Unfortunately, as previously mentioned... We don't want either one of these guys, but we definitely want their gear. So I'm going to have Blue, despite his fatigue, rush out here and start stripping these guys. Oh, Blue, we hardly recognize you, buddy, in your new gear. Check that out. So he has gotten his hands on that auto revolver too, which is wonderful. Of course, I think that's a little bit smaller radius than the recurve bow he had. Nonetheless, that's a trade up, so we'll take it. And we are getting notified that this quest is about to expire. I'm actually tempted now, instead of the recurve bow, to go for the glitter world. I think we will accept this, and I'm going to rush Blue out here, get these traps redone. I think he was coming out here to move some of the corpses. Yeah, we're not going to be burying our enemy. I know, it was just a funny joke, really. What we are going to do is just leave their corpses back here, kind of out of sight, out of mind, set up a very small pile. Eventually, though, depending on the memes we get, we might have other uses for our fallen enemies, but that's a concern for the future. So, like I said, we've accepted the quest, and I'm not sure just how soon it'll happen. Let's see. Oops, let me get to the quest and we'll see what it says. Okay, here we go. If you accept, the wasters will arrive in 4 days. Plenty of time. Not a big deal. 2 wasters. I think we can handle them now. And we'll definitely, since we've got our walls upgraded over there on our house with steel, we're going to focus right here on this. Getting this front line ready for the coming raids. Well, would you look at that? Randy's generosity knows no bounds, doesn't it? A contract miner named Joker has arrived and wants to join the colony. Well, we'll treat this the same way we did with the previous one in the first episode. Of course, we started today's episode with the burial of that previous colonist. But this might be another sacrifice. I don't know. Let's take a look here and see. 52 years old. It's already not great for you there, Joker. I'm going to be honest, but we'll give you a fair shot. What's your personality? Optimist, neurotic. Not bad, actually. Not a bad combo. Of course, the mental break threshold means he'll probably see a few breaks here and there, but that global work speed increase is huge. That affects everything, whether he's mining, constructing, planting, and the optimist. Wow. I take it all back there, my friend. I like you even more. Unfortunately, he is not a tribal, but that doesn't necessarily rule him out as a permanent recruit. Of course, with Anomaly 2, there are other concerns about just random visitors or people who decide to join, but we won't get into that too much. I think we have found our second recruit, though. Very, very fortunate for us, too. That's cause for celebration. We can't do any rituals, but we'll just everybody celebrate at home. Welcome, Joker. Michael Joker Gentle. Interesting name there, buddy. Interesting. I love it. Yeah, and this is going to be extremely helpful. His background in mining, construction, and plants. Man, this guy's fitting in right away. Yep, go ahead and grab some of Blue's hand-me-downs too there, buddy. Very smart. I see you're already on top of things. Wow. Now I'm even more excited for the future. As Joker spends his first night in the colony sleeping on the floor, I think it's time we get our food making production up and running again. As you can see, I've got all the animals now set inside to be hunted. We'll get those going, and of course they'll serve to bulk up our pemmican supplies and hopefully get enough textiles to produce another bed. For our newest colonist, I'm still super excited. I've got his work tab all laid out, so he is definitely going to help us expand into the mountain. But as I mentioned, I don't want to do too much digging, provoking insects just yet. Of course, we will get into that, but right now we got plenty of room in our disgusting yet technically mediocre barracks right here. Oh, and for anyone curious, we will maintain a barrack structure going forward just for min-maxing purposes. On this difficulty, that is something we're going to try and maintain, the min-max mentality in a lot of different ways. But of course, I'll address them as we go and the benefits and things like that. Once we get a full barracks built with more colonists too, it is beneficial over individual rooms, especially when you're dealing with Randy at 500 degree scale difficulty. But We've got a few more days before our next raid here, our quested or contractual raid, shows up. So I think we'll end today on a high note, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in for the first episode, this one. I appreciate everybody's comments and stuff on the video. It really helps, of course, to boost it in the algorithm, but I also love hearing from you guys. Anyway, thank you once again. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're brand new, and I will see you on the next one. Hey everyone, I just want to give a personal thank you to my Patreon supporters. Their contributions help make my work possible, and I am tremendously grateful to them. I'd also like to extend an invitation to you to help support my work on Patreon as well. Your donations allow me to upgrade my PC and avoid the dreaded hardware despair. It also gives me more time to devote to new projects and create longer content such as live streaming. No matter what you decide, thank you for visiting my channel.